You are now live. We are now live. What's up, people? Sun waits for no man. So I gotta hurry my ass up, because I'm still a man. Still a man. Clutch Consciousness started a live video. What's poppin'? Let's go over the Sky Clock 101 tonight. About to run my ass to the viewing point. Let's do this. Let's fucking go. Nala. Holy shit. I'm trying to block these light codes tonight. Nala, come here. Hey. Come on, Nala. Fuck, look at this sky. Look at this fucking sky. Chemtrail laden sky. Hey. All right, here we are. We're at the viewpoint. Now, if you can see right here, this is just like being in Egypt right here. We're on the 33rd latitude right here, okay? So, let's check this out. What's up, everybody? How's it going? All right. We're gonna go over the path of the sun today. Real fucking basic, but look it. Nobody teaches this, okay? Compass, right? Now, we gotta get this thing oriented. Let's check it out. Okay, so get this thing level. Come on, Coleman. I don't think that's entirely accurate. It's fairly accurate. Obviously, the sun is setting in the west. Okay, so now every single day right now, the sun is moving 1 degree. Every single day, sun moves 1 degree, boom, to the north. Until we reach the summer solstice, and then it'll be at the furthest northern part. And then in the northern hemisphere, that's what equates to the longest day of the year. Now, we just had the spring equinox, which is equal day and equal night, aka the sun was just transferring over the equator. Equinox, equator. So, you know, we're about halfway there. When it's wintertime, right, December 22nd through the 25th, the sun is dead. The Son of God is dead because it doesn't move any degrees for 3 days. The Son of God, the Son of Man, died for 3 days. December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and on the 25th, the sun was born again. And that's when it started to come back to the northern hemisphere, okay? So that's going to continue every day by 1 degree. So this whole thing, right, 360, right, had a long ass day. That's what we're talking about, 360 degrees, right? Okay? So, yeah, when we hear motherfuckers talking about I had a long ass day, that's going to be in June, right? So we have March to April, May, June. That's 3 months. So that's the halfway point. And then it depends on your geography, like where you're located, because it's going to be your longest day of the year, and every single place it varies slightly when that exactly happens. Just like the equinox, it's going to be a little bit different here than somebody on the East Coast and somebody on the West Coast, somebody in China, Russia, Belarus, all of that, right? It's all going to vary, even though we're all in the northern hemisphere. Okay? So typically, I think it's around June 20th, the 21st is when we hit the longest day of the year. And at that point, that's the summer solstice, and then it starts to come back. So it's already almost there. And then it's going to continue coming back by 1 degree every single day. And then the sun is going to be, you know, right back here when that next equinox happens, which will be July, August, September. And September will have the next equinox, and the sun will be setting right here. But this time it's going to be going back this way. And now, as above, so below, this is where we see the sine wave. What's up, family? This is where we see the sine wave take place. And if we're looking at it from above, right, we see the S curve happening, and the equator, right? So we see this is the equator right here. This is the equator. The sun comes to the north, and that's when we have our summer. Then we have the solstice, which is going to be middle of June. Then it comes back down. We have another equinox, which is going to be September, and then it comes back down, and that's summer, like in Australia in the southern hemisphere. And then it comes back, and it continues this path, and we have that's the S curve. That's the sine wave that we see from above. So right now it's just passing the equator, right? And now it's coming to the north, and then it's going to hit the winter. It's going to hit the fall equinox in September, right? And then it keeps coming back, boom, 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 and that's the S curve that we see from above. Now, one of the thoughts that I have, and you got to think about this, is that all of this is metal, right? We see all of these heavy metal particulates being sprayed, like this motherfucker. Look at that bitch ass making a fucking S curve, right? But all of this, and the 5G is going to be interacting and manipulating with the metals and the magnetosphere, because that's when we look at the north. When we look to the north, that's where we have the magnetosphere, and that's what creates this reaction. That's how the compasses work. They're able to point. They're magnetized, being able to point to where the magnetic north is, which is the magnetosphere, right? And then here we go. So right now we're kind of, look at these flight paths. The flight paths here are crazy. Obviously these are probably some type of drones or something like this, flown by NASA, or just getting some text messages, but hold on. Yeah, these are some drones or something, but okay, so next time we'll be talking about the moon, the path of the moon. But just to get into it a little bit today, the moon, the degrees of the moon vary a lot more, you know. Now, everything in the sky, sun, moon, stars, all follow the same ecliptic across the sky, and they are steady. They're pretty much on the same path. They too, just like when you can only see them, you have Milky Way season, you only have that during certain times of the year, but the moon is varying about 12 to 13 degrees every day, where the sun only moves 1 degree every day. Okay, so with that said, you take those 3 days into account between December 22nd, 23rd, 24th, and 25th, and then you have that 6 month span on either side, but you're looking at about 180 degrees that it's potentially moving through the sky. And then the cycle of the moon, right now we're closing in, we're in the waning stage. We're in the waning, aka draining stage. So the moon is losing its, you're not gonna be able to see it, it's like losing its energy, right? And then it goes back to the sun, it goes back to the same place in the sky as the sun, aka the new moon, not able to see it. And this is where we have the yin and the yang. We have this recharging of sorts, and this is like the sacred energy exchange, the sex in the sky, where we have the sun being the yang, the wang, the male, the output, putting out the energy, and then you have the female, which is the la luna, which is the moon, the yin, which is taking in what the male is putting out. the yin is taking in the yang, right? So it's like the sun puts out the energy, the moon takes it in, and at this point it's like they reestablish their connection, and then from there every single day the moon moves about 45 minutes according to us. Every single day the moon, once they break apart in the sky, we'll have that time in the sky where the moon is in the same place, and then every day the moon will fall back 45 minutes, and at this point it'll be waxing, which is maxing, and the moon is growing in size until we have the full moon on the other side of the sky, and that's the end of the waxing stage. And then from there, when it hits its perigee, which is the maximum luminacy, then it's going to be back to the waning stage again. So pretty interesting. So you have the 30-day, you have about, we'll call it roughly 28 to 30 days of the moon cycle between full moons, right? And so 15 days of waxing, 15 days of waning roughly, and there you have that mini moon cycle, just like we have the greater soul sun cycle. So yeah, there we go. Any questions? If I'm not explaining something or you're unsure about something, just drop me a question. I'll try to explain it a little bit more. But yeah, this is, amongst the other things, like this right here. Now remember, we are the co-creators of this reality. So instead of just being like, oh yeah, oh, you know what, it's whatever, like we're just under attack, oh, it's no big deal. What in all actuality, this is created by consciousness. This is created by the collective consciousness. So your consciousness, your attention is creating this reality along with mine, right? Like we have the base layer that's already put here, but then we contribute to it. So at this point, when you realize that you're not an NPC, that you're an active player in this, you realize your relationship with the elementals. What are the elementals, right? That's what everything is made up of. Earth, air, fire, water. Earth, air, fire, water. Now the elementals are alive, right? So the elementals are alive. They're basically, you can look at them as like slave, like they're like slaved out by the higher consciousness, by maybe archangels or something like this, like by the greater system at play here. But we have a relationship with these elementals, and that's when you realize that you have this power. That's when you start to realize you're the avatar. You are the avatar, just like the show, The Avatar. And that's where you start having a relationship with the avatar. The thing is that the elementals will work with you when you're not trying to do something for personal gain. You dig? If you're trying to just get money for your own like vanity, the elementals aren't going to work with you. But if you're on a mission to bring higher consciousness in, to free everything, like, and realize what's really going on, the elementals will work with you. They'll work with that. They'll work with your divine flow. So with that said, we know that everything in this realm is made up of one of the elements: earth, air, fire, water. So all of this stuff, even the heavy metals in the sky, we have a relationship with them on a conscious level. And when we do this, how does it play out, right? That's when you start to take control, and you start to use your brains, which is everything from your gut and the harmonics, because it's the cymatics, yeah? What's happening? Looking slick, X. Thanks, man. Woo! Alright, sun is... Alright, so... everything in this realm is basically created by cymatics. In the Bible says this: in the beginning there was the Word, right? And then the Word is a vibration, and that stems from a frequency, and the frequency gets transmuted through a word, and the word is a vibration. The vibration creates form, through cymatics, through the science of cymatics. And so we can emit our own information, our own quanta into this realm, our own consciousness, and influence the elements, the elementals. And that's when we reach our avatar state. And so we have our own elemental form within us, and we have like this right now is like the fire. This is the electricity that I'm receiving in my eyes, and then this charges my pineal gland, which is like the quartz that's in our phone that's helping us communicate right now, which is conducting the signal. That's that same thing that's happening. So it can be said that the controllers or the elite or whatever knew that this age was coming where we were going to be telepathic. Like, we may not even actually need to be communicating over these devices right now, but these are like training wheels of sorts. So we could just be communicating this on a telepathic level, like in the quantum cloud. We could all be chilling out, having this conversation. If you watch the show Avatar, that's what they call going into the spirit world, where they're hanging out. But to get back to the point, you charge up your pineal gland with this electricity, right? And then you use your crystals, you use your oils, right? Which is like your for the males, it's going to be your like, you practice semen retention, and you channel this energy up through your 33 vertebrae in your spine, and you bring it to the land of milk and honey. Yeah. She won't bother you. Yeah, you're welcome. You bring it to the land of milk and honey, right? Which they talk about in the Bible, right? The land of pineal. And what's the third one? So basically, yeah, that's like creating the fire within, and then we can do like, the air, the breath work. So then you cycle this energy through, and then if you're cool with Gangstar MD, the homie over there, he does the aerokinesis. He's showing, he has great videos demonstrating how he clears out the chemtrails and basically creates. And he's not only just doing it with his mind, when he gets to that point of using his vibration and emitting it, as he's creating all of that energy through his gut, through his cymatica. And there's a lot of like, they started to ban using your like, especially with the natives and the Indians, they started to ban the guttural singing, being able to use this your entire larynx, everything. This is all meant to be, all of these organs are meant to be used as vibration to create the reality that we want. These are all like, this is like a technology. Right now, the only thing we're using it for is for digesting food. But if we're actually able to clear this out, be more of a liquid state, then you're able to use everything for the vibration, for the creation, and actually alter everything. And then that's when you can start looking at it like your timeline jumping. You're altering the timeline that we're currently on. Holy shit, look at the sunset right now. Classic Arizona sunset right now. And I'm pretty sure right here, this like, see that right there? That is a mud flooded pyramid right there. So all that technology exists literally what lies beneath right here. Yeah. So your own voice, your own singing, everything is actually meant to heal you. When you're inside of the old churches, are all designed to be acoustic in nature. These are actual healing centers before they were converted to churches. That's why you have organs inside of them, organs for your organs. They would play the certain tunes. The priests were all aware of how to do the guttural singing, create these different tones. And then inside the churches, if you listen, you'd be able to hear these beautiful resonance, beautiful frequencies. And this would be a place of healing. You would come in from nature, you would come into the cities, and you would go and get tuned up. Just like you go and tune up your vehicle, you would get tuned up. And that's what we can do. So if you have like I recommend everybody to go and record your own voice. Your voice is your own medicine. And do your affirmations, sing a song, you know, and listen to it, record it, and get yourself in tune, you know, tune yourself up, and watch how you speak your health into existence. You speak the future that you want to see into existence, because this world is so crazy quantum. Now switching topics a little bit, because this is some really interesting information, and it comes back to sun worshiping, right? Because what have we been told about all of these different temples that you see, like the pyramids down in Mexico, and they were telling you that they would do these ceremonies where they would rip the hearts out of people and they would do blood sacrifices. Now listen, because this changes everything. There's no way that they convinced 70,000 Aztecs to just go off and kill themselves. Now, it's said that the actual reason why they would go up to the top of the pyramids and give their hearts away, basically, and change everything, is because during a certain time of the year, it's actually right now, but the moon has to be waxing, is that people would voluntarily leave this realm to pass on to the next existence, so they weren't going to be reincarnated back here. So they were taking fate into their own hands, so to speak. So they would consciously decide, all right, now is my time. I'm gonna hit this stargate, this portal, and I'm gonna go and exist in another realm. That's why there wasn't this like sacrificial use, but they're like, they may be like sacrificing this physical vessel, but their consciousness is going to go on to the next realm, the next existence, which may be just beyond this firmament, where, you know, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, like in one of these realms just outside of where we currently are. So very interesting. Very interesting. So, yeah. Boom. But yeah, don't look at this, don't stop, like, we have to get out of the victim mentality of thinking that we're always under attack, like the chemtrails and everything are attacking us, because this is literally the sign in the sky that you can always see that is going to wake people up to see that basically the same way that a lion or a tiger or something hunts, and we see that play out in the jungle, we are in a consciousness jungle right now, and there's a big bad predator. You know, you call them the elite, you call them whatever, but it's not that. It's they are the manifestation of that, but it's like a conscious cleanup that takes place, and that could be tied in with what's considered to be the Great Reset. But we actually have this, like, all the dead weight, all the consciousness dead weight, all the vessels and everything that aren't able to see the signs. They're not able to see what's taking place here. It's like, you're gonna go, all that quanta, all that energy, all that information is gonna go back. It's gonna be recycled, and we're gonna see it play out as in, you know, a lot of deaths that take place in this realm. But that's just because that's the manifestation of the consciousness being recycled back in, reformulated, recapitulated, and then reborn, and then that'll be the reincarnation. And then if you don't, yeah. How's it going? Hey. What's up, Amber?
Doing your sunset again?
Yeah, always.
I know.
Yeah.
Have you?
I'm consistent.
I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Hi, sweetheart.
The neighbors know. Be out here every day. But yeah, for those people who are like, all right, I've done my journey, I've done enough, like my karma's clear. Okay, let me read this real sec. Okay. Yeah, so for the people who decided that they've done enough in this realm and they want to pass on, there's like a Stargate portal that you can hit, according to these ancient texts that say at a certain time you can basically make your conscious departure out of this realm, and you can do it between when the sun is on its way up to the summer solstice. And I wonder if it's the same on both hemispheres, northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. But a lot of these texts are based on living inside the northern hemisphere, so it's interesting. But apparently it's when the sun is reaching, maybe it flips if you're on either side of the equator. So as long as the sun is going to reach its perigee for the longest day of the year, so the north, it would be between like now and June, and you're in the northern hemisphere, then you can consciously decide to sacrifice yourself, leave this realm, and then you go on and your consciousness will be birthed into another realm. And just the same way that you chose your parents on a soul level before you came into this realm, and you influenced them to hook up and then co-create you, then you were birthed into this realm. That's the same thing that we could be doing here on our subconscious realm. You could be doing it in the dream realm. Now this is something that you could go and partake in right now and be manifesting your existence in the next life. And it's said that if you were to, now this is all hearsay, but I'm not saying it's biblical truth, but I fuck with the idea if you die when it's not that time of the year, you're going to be reincarnated here. So it's pretty interesting. Okay, so how does Project Sentience says, so how does the Mars and Venus thing work? Does that suggest we can't go from Earth to Mars, etc. in the physical? Yeah, can't go to Mars, not like this. You can't get outside of the firmament like this. Like, they're not going to Mars. They're when they say like we're going to Mars, they're talking about Mars energy. They're talking about like bringing war energy here, that type of shit. And they're not talking about it in terms of like spaceships. Definitely not. Yeah. Yeah, the sky is just getting blasted here. But, Stargates, star portals, this type of thing is I think a lot of this technology is being utilized, and we're kind of just like waking up. We're having like our remembrance right now, and that's where all these like DNA, light codes, information, the remembering is all taking place right now. So we're in the midst of it. Yeah. Thanks, Collins Crypto. Appreciate it. Beware of hologram shit. Yeah, I mean, in some respects, like this is like a hologram projection that we're all living through right now. It's like when they say it's a simulation, the reason why they push that term so much is because of the transhumanism agenda. They want you to think of life in a computer type sense, so that a lot of the people will think, oh, it's already a simulation. We're in a simulation already. Like, what's the big deal if I just upload my consciousness into this artificial, like into AI? Are you talking about, Project Bluebeam and all of this, like, it's like 4D holographic technology where it's like immersive. Yeah, I mean, that's where you're dealing with some serious false light, and that's why it's like now it's more important than ever to make sure that you're tapped in, you're tuned into your own internal. Like, this is an external compass. You want to be tapped into your internal compass, because you got to be able to feel it. You got to be able to see it with your first eye, with your inner technology. And that's where, like, meditation to me is basically going into that first eye state, and then that's where you start to carve out your consciousness, your own conscious sphere, so to speak. You create your own space there, and somewhere, like, when all the external things start to, when shit hits the fan in the external realm, you're able to go back and hit your internal place of peace. And that's really like your consciousness, where you can channel your consciousness and then create that. And you can do this every single night when you start going to sleep, and then you kind of walk yourself into your lucid dream, which could be your lucid landscape. And the further that you can go in, it's like people who meditate a lot, like, they're never sleeping. Like, even when their physical body is sleeping, they're still awake in the consciousness, in their consciousness. So you should be, so you can be aware of what's going on all of the time. And that's just merging your conscious and your subconscious mind. And the beauty of that is that the subconscious mind is like the supercomputer. Organic timelines, neutrality, star seeds at all costs. Yeah, I mean, that's our opportunity here right now to bring in this currency, this vibration, these light codes, this knowledge that, it seems like common sense, but a lot of people are hungry for common sense. They need it right now. So we have to be talking about it, because when like describing the sky clock, look at common sense. But has anybody ever told you that the sun moves 1 degree every single day, and that the equinox is because the sun just passed the equator? Boom, boom, every day, 1 degree, all the way until it hits the summer solstice. Boom, hits that top of the S curve, and then that would happen in June. And then if you were already if you were in the southern hemisphere, in Australia, for example, then that's going to be your shortest day of the year, because the sun is hanging up, lighting up all of the northern hemisphere. Longest day of the year is taking place over here. And then once we hit that June 21st-ish mark, the sun comes back 1 degree every single day. Yeah, you're hungry. Consciousness is hungry. Yeah, here we go. We got the entree coming through. So then it's going to come back, boom, past the equator again. And so the reason why they can't explain this to you. Now look, I went to one of the top 50 universities in the world. I studied astronomy from these top ranked professors. Okay, I listened to them. So it's not like I'm just spouting off. Like, I learned everything that they had to say. And they don't teach you these basics, because if they taught you these basics, if they taught you how consistent the sun is and how the sun moves 1 degree every single day, and you were like, and then if you had if you had 2 brain cells moving in the same direction, you'd be able to start seeing, wow, that's pretty crazy considering we're on a spinning ball going 1,000 miles an hour. You're telling me that it's that exact? It's doing the same thing every single day? And we're on a spinning ball rotating around the sun? Fuck, come on. And you start realizing, that's that sun worship, Angles of the sun are very important. Yeah, facts. Angles, angels. Yeah. And that's the way it plays out for even activating. You see with the plants, the different angles of the sun will activate the seeds, will tell the seeds when to grow, when to bloom. And then it activates that DNA, and then the plant will start to grow at the right time of the year because of that certain angle of the sun. Now that's on a pretty big scale, that's on like a yearly scale, but on another scale, you have what we're going through right now. and think about yourself as a seed, and you think about the light codes activating you, and it's activating your DNA. Just like it activates the seed's DNA, it's activating your DNA right now. And that's why the number one thing is, that's why you have these all blocking the ultraviolet rays. Okay, now if you know about the black sun, think about black, ultraviolet, violet, right? And you have right here in Arizona, you have the Lucifer telescope, which is an ultraviolet telescope. So they're able to track ultraviolet things that are just outside of our spectrum. We don't have an organ, because these are like, we don't have an organ, to sense where that stuff is, maybe on like a first eye, third eye level, but we're not able to see those rays with this perception. So these occultists are studying that stuff, and they're tracking this stuff, and they're trying to deprive us of getting these light codes. But that's just it's just like anything else. You go lift weights in the gym to build muscle. All of this adversary is doing the same thing. You have adversaries to make you better, to make you stronger. That's the point. So that's where you can be thankful for your enemies. You can love them because they're going to make you stronger, consciously stronger. They're going to point you in the right direction, because a lot of people would just be sitting on their ass, couch potatoes, not giving a fuck about self-development. Because if you're able to develop yourself and develop all of these things, then you're not gonna be part of the loosh farm. 9/11. So 9/11, right? So you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. 9, 11. You're skipping the 10. Okay? The 10 is the completion cycle. So you're skipping the completion, and then you're going back to 11, right? So then 11 reduces down to 2, and you're skipping the 1. So that's part of the magic, the black magic that takes place with 9/11. Skipping the completion dates. But hey, here we are, family. We're out here. We're aware of what's going on. We're all developing consciously every single day, getting these light codes, these transfers of information, and carving out what we want to see in this realm. All right, family. Much love to you all. Take care. Nala and I. Well, I gotta find Nala now. She might have went and got something to eat. All right. Peace and love, y'all. Take care.